Should I yell a little more? Okay. I'm going to talk about focus, identity, and purpose. How many of you play softball or baseball? Okay, you know when you're up to bat, and you have to watch the ball all the way, right? Until you make contact with it. You have to focus on it. So focus is really important so that you succeed. And it's just like that when you're following Christ. You have to focus on Christ so that you can succeed in what you're supposed to be doing. Just like in Matthew 14, Peter, when he walked on water, he watched God and he made contact with his eyes and focused on him while he walked across the water. And, you know, that's pretty hard to walk on the water, so I would think you'd have to focus on God. But then when he took his eyes off of God, he began to see. So the focus is really, really important. If you focus on Jesus, you will succeed and find your identity and purpose in him. Just like Zacchaeus. Have you heard the song, Zacchaeus was a wee little man? Yeah? It's a good song. In Luke 19, Zacchaeus was just a tax collector and a sinner. But then he climbed a tree so that he could focus on Jesus and so that he could see him and be able to hear what he was saying. And then Jesus saw him because he was focused on him. And Jesus said to him that he was going to go to his house that day. And keep in mind, Zacchaeus was just a sinner, just a regular person, nobody special. But God was going to go to his house that day. And because of that, Zacchaeus is no longer a sinner. He said he is saved because he is following Christ. Once you get your focus set on God, then you are no longer just a kid. You're no longer just a reporter. You're no longer Hannah Hogner. You're no longer just a person. Your mindset changes. You're able to see what you're supposed to be doing. You're able to see that you have a purpose and that you're supposed to do something great. You're not just a regular person who's going to live out every day doing just the same old, same old. You have a purpose to fulfill. And then, just like Jeremiah 18:1-6 says, "This is the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Go down to the porter's house, and there I will give you my message." So I went down to the porter's house, and I saw him working at the wheel. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands. So the porter formed it into another pot, shaping it as it seemed best to him. Then the word of the Lord came to me. He said, "Can I not do with you, Israel, as this porter does, declares the Lord? Like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand." Once you set your focus on God, he's going to shape you like a pot. He's going to shape you into what he's called you to be. So you just let him do the work as long as you set your focus on him. Like Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future." If you make a choice every day to set your focus on God, then you will understand your identity. That is who God says you are, not who the world says you are, not who you think you might be, but who God says you are. And he'll walk you into your purpose and your future. So remember, keep your focus on God. He'll show you who you're meant to be, and he'll show you what you're supposed to do.